Namaste students. In the previous class, we have started discussing about Around a Medicinal Creeper by K.P. Purnachandra Tejasvi. In this class, we are going to continue with it. Before continuing with the story, let's recap whatever we have studied in the previous class. Around a Medicinal Creeper is kind of autobiographical in nature. Here, the narrator tells us about an particular medicinal creeper which he calls unusual. He calls it unusual because it's a medicine. Not just a medicinal creeper, but it has some special qualities, and more importantly, nobody seems to know what exactly this medicinal creeper cures. Okay. Mara, his farmhand, introduced our narrator to this particular medicinal creeper, and he tells the story about the medicinal creeper, and he tells that a sage has cursed this medicinal creeper. As a result, when somebody needs it, they shall not find it, and as a result, as soon as somebody finds this particular creeper, they ties that creeper to the tree so that it cannot go and hide. Tejasvi, or our narrator, tells something more about this particular creeper, and he says that this particular creeper comes up only during the rains, and as soon as the rain is finished, or after the rainy season, it disappears, and we can see it only in the next rainy season. So far so good, right? But Mara's stories are kind of difficult to believe because most of his stories are totally false, made up stories. So as a result of such things, it took our narrator almost 20 years to understand some qualities about the creeper. Shall we? Okay, let's go to next part. Let me read out. Now the forests are disappearing, and the people who know about these things are also leaving us one by one. One must realize that if one disappears, the other becomes useless. I am very keen to share the information I have with someone. Someone should be aware of these things. But whenever I try to discuss unique properties of these plants and herbs with my doctor friends, they become annoyed, they call me ignoramus, and even squabble with me. Now, what is he saying over here is that nowadays, as a result of deforestation, this forest, we are losing the forest, and when we are losing the forest, of course, along with the forest, we are losing even the herbs as well as all the medicinal creeper and all these things. So when we are losing the medicinal plants, what happens? We may not get it back, right? It's not only the case of herbs and plants, but also the people who have the knowledge about these medicinal herbs. What about them? The aged one, those who knows about this uses of these medicinal plants are also leaving us one by one. That means they are dying. But before they die, they do not share this knowledge because of their own beliefs. So on the one hand, we are losing the medicinal plants and creepers. On the other hand, those who have knowledge about these medicinal creepers and plants and others, they are also leaving us one by one. So what is happening? We have to understand that if one disappears, either the native doctor, the person who have the knowledge, or the medicinal creepers or medicinal plants. If one disappears, other one cannot do. If we have medicinal creeper and we don't know how to use it, again useless. If we know how to use a particular medicinal creeper, what are the uses? But we do not. What if we do not get that medicinal plant? Again, we cannot do anything with that knowledge, right? So this is what he says. So as people are dying, somehow we can preserve this knowledge. So in order to preserve this knowledge, someone should know. Who can use this knowledge? Only the one who uses it, that's the doctors. So Tejasvi says that he tries to discuss these unique properties, special qualities of these medicinal plants with the doctors who heal people. But these doctors, did they listen to him? No, they felt annoyed. They felt bad about this and they called him ignoramus. Ignoramus means ignorant fellow, one who doesn't know, and even squabble with him. Squabble means almost getting into quarrel or getting into fight. What is happening over there? The doctors do not believe in these qualities of these medicinal plants. They may have thought that only what they have studied in the college, medical school, is the right knowledge, but all this knowledge the local people or the native people are sharing or they are telling are not true. This is what they might have. I'm not saying that they think, they might have thought. Okay, because there is a reason for that. Even those native doctors and native people are those who have some knowledge, they do not share their knowledge, so that it's very difficult to understand whether they are telling the truth or not. Understood? So next, that day, though Mara tying the plant, though Mara tying up the plant praised it to the skies, saying that every inch of it was medicinal, he did not tell what exactly it cured. Whether he did not want to tell me or simply did not know, I can't say. I didn't force him. Mara spun such exciting yarns that instead of tying it to tree, even if he had tied to creepers around his own neck, people would not likely to take him seriously. But his stories were marvelous even when they were not true. So, wait a minute. Okay. Mara tied to the tree. While tying the creeper to the tree, he praised it to the skies. He praised it like anything. And he said that every inch of that plant is medicinal. But the fact that he did not say that what exactly it cures, how to use that, he did not say. And our narrator also did not force him to tell, because narrator did not believe in the stories of Mara. He further says that either Mara did not know or he did not want to tell him. So both are possible. Okay, even when Mara knows stories, like any native doctors, they do not share this knowledge. And Mara spun is past tense of spin ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ತಿರುಗಿಸುವಂಥದ್ದು, or in other word it also tell something, narration, creating a story. Such exciting yarns is narration or stories. He was telling such stories. All these are stories, unbelievable thing, made up things. His stories are something like this. Instead of tying it to the tree, if he had tied it around his own neck and he ran around it, people who don't take him seriously, they might think that okay, this is something false, something true, not true. Okay, then they were marvelous even when they were not true. But to listen to his stories, they were wonderful, marvelous, adre not true. Understood? Let's move on to the next one. One day, it seems Mara had gone to the forest to bring some bamboo shoots home. With his hands thrust through the bamboo cane, when he was cutting the shoot, accidentally he cut his hand. The sharp sickle had apparently cut an artery and started bleeding copiously in spots. Everyone around was alarmed, and someone brought some leaf, pressed it against the wound and bandaged it with a cloth. Cloth torn from one of their lungis. Mara held his wounded hand carefully so that it would not shake too much, and went to the white man at Hulihindalu for a proper dressing and treatment. The white man got out his first aid kit, cotton, medicine, antibiotic powder, etc. Opened the bandage and removed the leaf. Surprise. So what is there in this particular paragraph? Here there is another story. So how exciting Mara's stories are and how untrue they were. The example is given over here. This is second story of Mara. First one is he is talking about the curse, and second one is how he cut his hand. So it seems that as Mara told, Mara went to the forest. Why did he go to the forest? To bring bamboo shoots home. ಎಳೆ ಬಿದಿರು ಅಥವಾ ಕಣ್ಣಿಲೆ ಅಂತ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ಅದನ್ನು. And while cutting it, his hands thrust pushed forcefully through the bamboo cane. When he was cutting the shoot, as we discussed, he accidentally cut his artery. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, he got cut, ಕೈ ಕಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ as his artery got cut, why? Because the sickle was very sharp, and that's what Mara said. Blood started to come out copiously, a lot of blood. He started to bleed a lot, and when he was bleeding a lot, what happened to the people were very alarmed, ಹೆದರಿಕೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So what did they do? Somebody brought some leaves. Which leaves? Who brought? It's not important. Somebody brought some leaves and pressed it against the wound, so that and then they bandaged it with a torn piece of lungis. They were wearing lungis, and one of them torn that lungi and bandaged it. Why? So that they can stop bleeding or slow down the bleeding. So after that, what they have done, Mara went to Hulihindalu. Why did Mara go to Hulihindalu? Because there is a white man, apparently a native, apparently one who has the knowledge of medicine. It is not said that whether he is a doctor or not. In Hulihindalu there was a white man. Now white man maybe refers to the British man living in the long ago, right? So what he has done, white man brought up his first aid kit so that he can treat Mara. Observe, first aid kit, everything was there, and slowly he removed the bandage, and there was surprise for him. What was his surprise? What was there for his surprise? For his surprise, there was, well, we can read that now. There was no blood, no wound, in fact no sign of any wound having been there. Now the white man became angry with the Mara and scolded Mara. Excuse me. You fool, are you joking? He shouted. Mara showed all the blood in his clothes and body and cringed before him, saying that he was not lying. So what was the surprise for white man? Because there was no wound. Mara told that he had got cut and there is a wound, but there wasn't any. Forget about the wound. There was not even sign of any wound having been there. If you had a wound, ಕೈಯಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಗಾಯ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಮೈಯಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಗಾಯ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ, there will be a sign will be there, ಅಥವಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲೆ ಬಿದ್ದಿರುತ್ತೆ, even if you are cured, right? But nothing was there, and that's when then white man got angry because he thought that Mara was fooling around. So he shouted at Mara, but Mara showed all the blood in his clothes and body and cringed before him. And he said that he was not lying. And looking at all this blood, white man believed that, okay, there is something mystery behind it. So what happened next? Let's see, right? So looking at all this, the Englishman believed Mara. He took a leaf that had been kept on the wound and told Mara, show me the plant from which you plucked this leaf. I will give you my entire plantation. Mara took him to the forest, and even though they searched for an entire day from morning to evening, they did not find the plant which had similar leaves. Now the Englishman thought that Mara really did not want to identify the plant. He was angry because he thought Mara was so greedy, and even though he had offered him entire estate, he was not satisfied. So he took out his gun and pointing at Mara said, if you do not show it to me, I will shoot you down. Now Mara was shivering and he started crying loudly. He fell at Englishman's feet and begged him and said that he really didn't know. I believe the Englishman, now really angry, and said, get out, and drove him out. This last part is a kind of a comment from the narrator's part, right? So looking at all the blood, Englishman thought that Mara was telling the truth. There might be really a wound, and the wound might be magically healed. That Englishman might have thought. So he asked Mara to show the plant, and it's not just he said to ask him to show, he also offered his entire plantation, ID estate, and he said if Mara shows that plant, he would give. What happened? They went to the forest, they searched from morning till evening. Did they get it? No, because medicinal plant can go and hide themselves, right? As per the Mara story, when you need it, you shall not find it. Yes, this is kind of thing. So they didn't find it. And then Englishman got again really angry. Why did he get really angry? he got really angry because he thought that doesn't want to show him the plant. So what happens next? He took out his gun and pointed Mara and threatened him if he doesn't show he would kill Mara. But even then Mara cannot find it, right? Because the plant has hidden itself. So Mara begged him, fell at his feet, and then might be Englishman let him go. Okay, this is one part. This is another story where Mara says even Englishman believed in his story. Even for Englishman, the plant did not show itself. So these are the kind of stories Mara comes up with. Do you think these stories are really true, or do you think you can believe this kind of story? One minute there was a cut and next minute there is no cut, right? It's almost impossible to, I mean, people can get cured, but that fast, almost impossible, right? Yes, this is what we have to observe in the Mara's stories. So after this there is another part. Observe that hearing the story, I also showed my irritation and said, yours is a cock and bull story, totally fabricated. If you had gone and searched near the bamboo bush where you hurt your hand, would you not have found a leaf and the plant? To which he replied with another story that mongoose and cowcal also knew about this plant, that when they go hunting the snakes, if they are bitten by poisonous snakes, they immediately chew the leaves and thus cure themselves. Another part of story. What is this particular story? So he said, okay, our narrator said, he was irritated because now Mara was bringing a white man in order to support his argument, the story of white man. Is it? So he said, yours is a cock and bull story. ನಂಬಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಸಾಧ್ಯವಾದಂಥದ್ದು, ಟೋಟಲಿ ಫ್ಯಾಬ್ರಿಕೇಟೆಡ್, ಕಟ್ಟುಕತೆ, ಸುಳ್ಳಿನ ಸರಮಾಲೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಅರ್ಥದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾನೆ. If you had gone to the and searched near the bamboo bush where did you get the cut? You would have gone there and you would have searched over there. You might have found it. Yes, Mara doesn't give answer to that particular question. Instead, he comes up with a different story. It is not only Mara, but also two others, mongoose and cowcal. Crow peasant ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, mongoose ಅಂತ. This animal also knows about this particular plant. They hunt the snakes. When they go on to hunting, they might get bitten. If they got bitten, they will come and chew these leaves, and if they chew these leaves, they will be cured of their poison. This is what Mara's another story and justification how he got cured. So Mara justifies how did he get cured with another story, that is mongoose and cowcal. They know about this plant and they chew its leaves and they will get cured, right? So again, unbelievable, right? Next part, Mara did not have any teeth on the right side of his mouth. He had to chew everything on the left side. He was aged and perhaps they had fallen off naturally, but why only one side? I was curious. One day I asked him how he had come to lose all the teeth only on one side. He told me an interesting story. It seems that they had fallen out long ago and not as a result of his advancing age. Once he had laid a trap in the forest to catch rabbits. He was worried that somebody else may get there before him in the morning and take away his catch. So he went into the forest before daybreak. The trap was empty. No rabbit had walked into it. Since there was a stream flowing nearby, Mara decided to brush his teeth and wash his face before trekking back home. When he broke a small stick from the nearby plant to brush a third or fourth time, he felt sore tasting in the mouth. He thought that there was something wrong with the stick and threw it. Before he could try another stick, he wanted to rinse his mouth. He took some water from the stream, put it into his mouth, and after churning it around his mouth, spat it out. Surprise! All the teeth which had been touched by that stick tumbled out of his mouth. So another story he comes up with. This is not the justification from the for the previous story. This is separate story. Okay. So Mara did not have any teeth on the right side of his mouth. ಬಲದ ಬದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಹಲ್ಲಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So as a result, he has to chew. Jaggivanthadella has to do in the left side. You can say that perhaps maybe because of advancing age, because he has become old and his teeth might have fallen off. But it is not true. It has fallen even before he was old. That means when he was young. And why? Advancing age is old age. He tells us a story. What happened over there? Another story. Once Mara laid a trap to catch rabbits. He kept trap, okay, to catch what? Rabbit. So rabbit doesn't come all at this right then. So rabbits generally people catch rabbits in the night. They will walk around, roam around at night, right? So very next morning he goes over there and tries to get his catch. He goes early in the morning. Why? Because he thought that what if somebody goes there before him and takes this particular rabbit, he is supposed to get it, right? So he goes there before daybreak, ಮುಂಜಾನೆ ಆಗುವಾಗಲೇ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಾನೆ, and he goes there and he looks at it. Was there a rabbit? There wasn't any, because no rabbit, he was not able to catch any rabbit. So he was maybe sad. Before trekking back home, because he has to walk a long distance from forest to his home. So he decided to brush his teeth because he started from home early in the morning. So he decides to brush his teeth, and of course he did not use toothbrush. Instead of some sticks he used to take, and he used to brush his teeth with that. So he took some stick which he did not know which one is that, and started to brush his teeth. But 3 or 4 times he might have brushed it, and then he realized something sore, huli, the taste in his mouth. So he thought that there is something problem with the stick. Okay, stick is not good. So he threw away the sticks. And before taking another stick, he thought that why can't he rinse his mouth? So he took some water from the stream and put it in his mouth and churn it around. Then spat it out. What happened? There was a surprise. Again, what was the surprise? The teeth which were touched by the particular stick tumbled out, fallen out. Okay, so there is no teeth on the one side. What was the reply of Mara? When he was telling this particular story to the narrator, he says that, thank God I was saved because I had not brushed all the teeth. Otherwise I would not have any teeth left to eat even rice. So he thanks God. Why? Because only he lost the teeth of only one side. What if he lost the teeth of even other side, right? He can't even excuse me. He would be left with no teeth and he cannot chew anything. This is what his reaction. Whether his stories are true, we don't know, or almost seems to be impossible, right? If you say that that story is false, Mara will come up with a different story. Same thing happens now. Let's go with that. I rebuked him. Narrator scolds him. Hey Mara, if you want to tell lies, make it at least believable. You are telling lies, however they are lies. But this particular lie is totally unbelievable. We cannot believe you at all. Make it something interesting. Make it believable so that people may listen to you. So actually what is our narrator doing is that he is making fun of Mara, saying that you are coming up with the stories and none of your stories are true. This is what he is trying to say. Do you think Mara would accept that? No, he did not. Instead, he asked the question, can't you see that I have lost all these teeth? Yeah, he asked him, do you think just look at his, just look, he has lost all the teeth, only one side. Another side, he had all the teeth. He comes up with the story. Then come and show me the plant. Our narrator is not easily giving up. So he asked him, "Show me the plant, then I will believe you." "How can I show you that plant? There are hundreds of plants in the forest. You can do one thing, sir. You can try brushing your teeth with each of them. Then we can find out which one has this effect." Mara tells the narrator that go and search yourself in the forest. If you want to know the truth, if you do not believe me, go and search. You are the one who is accusing of narrator is the one who is accusing the Mara of lying, right? So Mara asks narrator, go and search himself, because there are hundreds of plants. He doesn't know which one he has used. Earlier also he said some stick, right? Why should I? You are the one who is lying. You have to brush your teeth with all those plants and discover the right one. Our narrator is also kind of mocking Mara. It's not exactly serious. It's kind of mocking, making fun of Mara. You are telling lies. Go and find the plant, bring the plants. Then Mara says, "My God, there are so many plants in the forest. I won't live long enough to try each and every one of them." "Hey, Mara, if you keep trying the different ones, you may find one which is going to make your teeth come back. See, how can I say which type of plant I will stumble upon? Just my bad luck if I get one which kills me." So, when narrator says that he can try different plants, Mara says that he has become old and he cannot live long enough because there are hundreds and hundreds or thousands of plants are there in the forest. He have to try each and every one of them, right? So when he tells that, in order to boost him or make fun of him, trying to make fun of him, our narrator says that, who knows, there might be a plant you can stumble upon, you can come across, you can get the plant which may make your teeth come back magically, like as you said. Do you think our narrator believes that story? No, narrator doesn't believe that story. Instead, he is making fun of Mara. But Mara is not readily, doesn't seem to understood that irony. Instead, he says that there may be so many, there may be even poisonous. He might die. As soon as Mara said that, narrator, who is seems to be looking for an opportunity, said, "Then why are you asking me to try? If there are poisonous one, why are you asking me? Do you want me to die?" In that sense, because you are the one who is accusing me of lying. No, Mara doesn't want him to die. Okay, Mara did not understand, may not have understood that question. He says that he asked narrator just because narrator was accusing him. Suppose you can come upon the one that will bring back your youth. Sorry about that. Suppose if you keep on trying, who knows, there are so many magical plants, as Mara said. So narrator says to Mara that he may get one particular plant which can make him young once again. Mara has become old, right? He is telling Mara that anything may happen, as you said, or as per your story. It is possible. It is possible as per your story. It may not be real. Our narrator doesn't believe that, but Mara believes those stories. "I don't even want that. If I become young, I will have to marry again." What? He'll have to marry again. He doesn't want that. "Let that be, but don't think that such plant does not exist in our forest," he said, and told me another story. Yes. So when this thing happened, what happened? In order to mock him or make fun of him, he said that you may become young. What was the reply of Mara? He said that he doesn't want to become young. Why he doesn't want to become young? Because if he becomes young, he has to get married once again, and he doesn't want to marry again. That's what Mara's justification. Okay. At the same time, he doesn't say that such plans are not there. It is not possible. It is not possible. He doesn't say that. He supports somewhere or something like this. There are such plants which can bring back life, and he tells the story. Okay, this is for right now, and we can continue with the next class. Hope you will have the text, or at least go through the text once again. It is already there in the over here. Good luck. Thank you.